The mystery of the blue flashes and the boom sounds that we hear coming from our skies. We hear them all over the world. Well, let's try and shed some light on the science of this. What could this be? I'd like to read something concerning auroral breakups having to do with Earth's magnetosphere and what we see above our poles. One thing that most of us don't know about, and something that the ancient Greeks did speak about, is that and even Nikola Tesla knew of, has to do with the fact that our universe and space, what's between the stars and the planets, is not empty. It's full of plasma, and that this plasma is basically acting as an electric field. So our space is not empty, it's filled with plasma. And now, could this phenomena, this mysterious phenomenon that we're lately seeing, and I guess people that, the good thing about it is that people are able to take videos and images of this with sound in most cases and post them on social media and YouTube, and we're able to witness it from what they have recorded. But what is this? Well, one thing I'd like to go into is the auroral breakups. Now let's read. This is from Science of Cycles. I'll leave a link below for you for this. Mitch Batrus, February 11 article. Shedding light on the science of auroral breakups. The aurora borealis is the northern lights, and we have the similar thing on the South Pole with the southern lights. Auroras, also known as northern or southern lights, depending on whether they occur near the North or South Pole, are natural displays of light in the Earth's sky. Typically, these lights are dimly present at night. However, sometimes these otherwise faint features explode in brightness and can even break up into separate glowing hallmarks, appearing as spectacular bursts of luminous manifestations. This striking and picturesque phenomenon is known as an auroral breakup. Now, I was lucky enough to have seen northern lights. It was a Friday evening long ago over the skies of Montreal, Canada, where I was living at the time with my family, with my parents, and it was late at night, and it was just a beautiful, fantastic sight. It was a sheet of shimmering colors above our heads, and it was soundless, no sound whatsoever. It was in the month of February, late at night on a Friday night, and it was spectacular to watch. It was just unbelievably mesmerizing. Now, going back to the article, now Japanese scientists have quantitatively confirmed how energetic this phenomenon can be, using a combination of cutting-edge ground-based technology and new spaceborne observations. They have demonstrated the essential role of an auroral breakup in ionizing the deep atmosphere. The research furthers our understanding of one of the most visually stunning natural phenomena. The findings were published in Earth, Planets, and Space, January 23, 2019. The sun fires beams of charged particles or plasma towards Earth, also referred to as solar winds. This plasma is mostly made up of electrons, protons, and alpha particles. When these particles interact with the Earth's magnetic field, electrical currents are carried by electrons into the Earth's atmosphere. This reaction between the electrons and their atmospheric constituents emits light of varying color. As I explained to you what I witnessed, emits lights of varying color and complexity visible as an aurora. However, little is known about how energetic the electrons can be when these lights explode into the stunning light shows known as auroral breakups. So far, the assumption has been that electrons of a specific energy level are responsible for this rare phenomenon. So you can see that they still don't know how this is taking place. It's still a mystery to them. Going on with the article, in the new study, the scientists report that, contrary to conventional thinking, a specific kind of electrons with much higher energy, called radiation belt electrons, are involved in the auroral breakup. Named after their location in the Earth's radiation belt electrons had not been clearly associated with auroral breakups before. The research team based their conclusions on a data set collected via advanced technology and simulations. Quote, radiation belt electronics are released from the Earth's magnetic field and charge the mesosphere during auroral breakup. This fact was quantitatively confirmed by both cutting-edge, ground-based, and new spaceborne observations, end quote, adds Ryoho Kataoka, PhD, Associate Professor of the National Institute of Polar Research, and the corresponding author. Quote, this study also provides a good example how ARISE satellite and PANSI radar can collaborate to understand the connection between space and atmosphere, end quote. In their future research endeavors, Professor Kataoka and his team hope to understand how the radiation belt electrons are released during the short-lasting period of auroral breakup. Quote, the ultimate goal is to understand the interplay between auroras and radiation belts, said Professor Kataoka. And this research was supported by several Japan Society for the Promotion of Science Kakeichni grants. And now, going into the radiation belt aspect of this is from NASA Space Weather Prediction Center. The radiation belts, as we know, are regions of enhanced populations of energetic electrons and protons surrounding the Earth in space. These belts are highly dynamic, increasing and decreasing on time scales of minutes to years. The high levels of radiation caused by the energetic electrons and protons makes this a very harsh region for satellites. And if you look at one of my previous videos I posted yesterday having to do with the South Atlantic anomaly, that's the area between, for example, South America, Africa, the Southern Hemisphere. It's a huge area that the magnetosphere of the Earth is so strong that even satellites have to close down when they pass over this area, so they don't sustain damage to their electronics. So Earth's radiation belts, discovered shortly after the launch of the first U.S. satellite in 1958, was one of the earliest discoveries of the space age. Since that time, while many satellites have made observations as they pass through the belts, much is still not understood about the processes that cause the energization, transport, and loss of radiation belt particles. There's a good understanding of the typical properties of the radiation belts, though, including their location and some of the processes that control the radiation belt intensity and variability. Radiation belt particle motion and dynamics are controlled to a great extent by the magnetic and electric fields in space, and how these fields vary as a result of the interaction between the solar wind and Earth's magnetic and plasma environment. So, okay, we're talking now about plasma, although I have not been able to find too many things concerning plasma on Earth or plasma in the universe and space. But I know one thing, that the holy fire that comes down to Earth on Easter Saturday on the tomb of our Lord Jesus Christ in Jerusalem, the Holy Sepulchre, is plasma that is found in space. This was tested by Russian physicists in the year 2004, and they found that it should not be on Earth because it's space plasma, and yet it is there. And that's what, it's cool, it's the temperature of the human body, and so it doesn't burn you even though it's fire. And it turns into regular fire after 2 or 3 minutes. And it will burn you after 2 or 3 minutes. But that's another issue. We'll go into that later on. It's something very interesting and mystical. Mysterious and mystical. Now, and that has been going on for the past 2,000 years, since Christ's resurrection. It's been coming there. Now, so yes, that is the real sepulcher of our Lord Jesus Christ. It's in Jerusalem, in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Now, going back to this, electrons with typical energies above 0.1 million electron volts, MeV, are found in both an inner belt from about 1.5 to 3 Earth radii above Earth's center in the equatorial plane, and an outer belt from about 3 to 10 Earth radii, RE. The so-called slot region forms between the two electron belts as a result of losses due to electron interactions with electromagnetic waves called whistlers. The radial location and intensity of the electron radiation belts are extremely variable, and predicting this variability is one of the major challenges for space weather forecasters. High-energy protons with typical energies greater than 10 MeV, million electron volts, form a one belt that extends from about 1.1 to 3 Earth radii. The energetic particles that comprise the radiation belts can be hazardous for satellites and astronauts in space, and can also have effects on Earth's ionosphere and upper atmosphere. For example, high-energy radiation belt protons and even higher-energy galactic cosmic rays can alter the electronic state of sensitive electronic devices on satellites, resulting in computer errors or failures. In the case of high-energy electrons, they can cause serious damage to satellite cables and computer chips through a process called deep dielectric charging that culminates in harmful discharges. When MeV, that's million electron volts, electrons precipitate into Earth's upper atmosphere, they can deplete ozone and affect chemical processes in the atmosphere. So this is read from NOAA government page. I'll leave on radiation belts. I'll leave that to you as well. And again, in conclusion, this is all still a mystery, even to the scientists as we see, and the great mystery that most of us have been witness to, having this past week, a lot of these blue lights and booms, mysterious booming sounds, and most of which have been evidenced. Well, okay, you have them during the day too, but you can't see the light during the day that easily. You can see it better when we have sunset or night, when we don't have the we don't have the sunlight. So you have the lights and you have the booming sounds. In other cases, you even have buildings shaking, people witnessing that their homes have been shaking, their windows rattling, and in one case, one man lost power. I mean, even his power went out, which meant that they have somehow a connection with electricity and electric currents. So somehow they have a connection with electromagnetism, and that's not good. Whatever the case may be, these lights and booming sounds are not good because of the fact that they have shaking of the houses, the effect on people's electrical power, on the power grid. And what does that mean? I mean, okay, you have one house going out, but that means you can also have grids going out, like the generator, for example, that we saw going out in New York and other places. So yeah, we had witnessing of this going on all around the East Coast. And recently, yesterday, our friend Ben Fiorulo, you'll see one of my past videos, he has his video of what happened to his area in Seattle with the lights, these blue mysterious flashing lights, and the booming sounds that sounded like a very low metallic, eerie, weird metallic trumpety sound. Now I'm sure that if we had Nikola Tesla alive with us today, he would very easily be able to explain something like this kind of a mysterious phenomenon, because he was one that believed that ether fills up the whole of the universe, and that it's electrified, it has electrical properties, and that you could even use that to travel with unlimited speeds from one end of the universe to the other, because of the fact that you can use the electricity in the ether that fills all of the universe and space. And this is something that the ancient Greeks knew of and were talking about, but unfortunately it's a well-known secret that most scientists today are not delving into for some reason. Now, another aspect of this is that it could just simply be a far-off lightning storm, and the flashes that we see and the booming sounds could be from lightning, and later on the sound of the thunder. Now, the shaking of the building, that doesn't make any sense when it's a far-off lightning storm. But anyway, who am I? I can't come to any conclusion as to what this is. Even our scientists have no idea how all this works. And now I'll leave you with the two NASA latest videos concerning the magnetosphere of the Earth and how it behaves like a drum, and you can also hear the sound of it. And I'll leave links below for you for this.
What percentage of the planet?
If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.